Well, yesterday we looked particularly at the coming of Jesus into Jerusalem on Palm Sunday and saw how Jesus came into the city, how the crowds greeted him. And today we move on to events that possibly happened on the Monday of that week leading up to Good Friday. Jesus had come to the temple and he had thrown out the money changers and those who sold things in the temple. I'm going to read some words from Luke chapter 19, verse 45 to 48. Then he went into the temple and began to drive out those who bought and sold in it, saying to them, "It is written, my house is a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves." And he was teaching daily in the temple, but the chief priests and the scribes and the leaders of the people sought to destroy him. And they were unable to do anything, for all the people were very attentive to hear him. Or as another version puts it, the people hung on his every word. There were many people in Jerusalem, as we saw yesterday, people in Jerusalem who had been there for the Passover that was going to happen that week, hundreds of extra people. And Jesus there was in the temple. The leaders wanted to arrest him. They wanted to try him, but the people were listening to him. Jesus' opportunity was still there to speak to the people. The leader's opportunity to arrest him hadn't come yet. But it's those words there, particularly at the end of that chapter, people were very attentive to hear him. Today, as we think about those events leading up to Easter, do we listen to the voice of Jesus speaking to us? Today, we're in a world which is very troubled. Many people may be listening to the government. Many people listened to the Queen yesterday. But do we listen to the voice of Jesus? Firstly, Jesus reminds his own people of the promise that he has made to them. If we look in John's Gospel, the words of Jesus, just before the crucifixion, he said, "Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also." It may be today that you are listening to these words and you are thinking about the sadness, separation, which there is in our country at the moment, and you've never thought about the words of Jesus. Well, Jesus also says, "Come to me." And today we have an opportunity to come to trust in him, particularly when we think this week of Jesus dying on the cross. He came to die to take away people's sins. And if we trust him today, he has promised to give us that peace, but an eternal peace, which we saw in those words in John, that our hearts are not to be troubled. So may this thought be with you today. Thank you.